Afghanistan, unemployment, the party crashes at the White House. The president's got a very full plate. We got Thom Serafin to help fill.
And Christmas shopping.
Let's get in some gifts while we can. And let's start off with unemployment. This is one of the big issues that the country wants resolved.
And I think they're finally getting it. They had the White House conference on job creation yesterday. They came up with very few ideas. One idea was cash for caulkers, a program that the White House is going to try to stimulate for getting people to clean up their homes and make them more, insulated for the weather conditions, etc. But it's a small program. The House is looking at a bill to take $70 billion out of the $700 billion fund to help out with unemployment, extending unemployment costs, but there's no job creation.
That's the problem, and the problem right now is who creates jobs, the government or small business? You're a small business owner.
Right.
You know what it's like out there. Have you hired anybody recently?
No, as we were talking, I'd love to put two people on for the last year, but I'm kind of concerned. Where are we going with this thing, and what are we doing?
But see, you're like so many other small business owners, and for that matter, large corporations out there who are now realizing they can continue to produce with smaller numbers of people because everybody's kind of overworked right now. So what should the Obama administration do to get job creation going again?
Well, first of all, they have to focus on it. They focused on healthcare, Afghanistan. They have a lot of other issues. They're talking about the situation with the party crashers. But they have to focus on the issue. And the CEO of Boeing told the president yesterday, focus on this. Make this a number one. It's number one with the people in America. And all the polls, people are concerned about jobs. They're concerned about where they're going to go next year. I'm concerned about the second and third quarter. As soon as people come down with their inventories, then they're going to have to make decisions. Do we go forward? Do we expand? Or do we contract, or do we just stay where we are? If you're not growing, you're dying in the world of business. So you have to be able to make some kind of plans. In addition to that, the president said yesterday, I know you don't like the healthcare issues to the business community. I know you don't like some of my initiatives, but we have to take care of some of these problems. But while you think you may be taking care of this body that may be ailing, the body is losing oxygen, and you got to have a body with oxygen before you can save it.
Yeah, well, this body is tied up also in Afghanistan right now, and that's going to be a big issue. What's the political fallout for the president?
Well, it's kind of interesting because the political fallout has been kind of positive for him. He hasn't made anybody happy, but he hasn't made anybody really unhappy. I mean, the American people they have a trust in him to make this decision, according to the poll numbers. But they're concerned about the fallout. Can we afford it? Can we pay for this thing? And is it going to take away from my jobs and my local economy and the way I can make a living? The irony is 58% of Republicans, 56% of Republicans, 58% of Democrats agree with what he's doing right now. So he's actually taken that gulf between the Republicans, the left and right, and brought that middle together. The independents are split 48, 47, somewhere in there. But it's kind of ironic that particular decision, a lot of people were unhappy about setting a timeline. How can you go to war saying, can you imagine FDR saying, in 1941 we're going to go to war with Europe and Japan, but we're going to be out of there in 2 years? I mean, he made that decision, and he made that date 18 months, I think, to placate the left. But push comes to shove, and we're doing a good job over there, and our troops are in the middle of it. He's not going to pull anybody out in 18 months.
Let's talk about the White House party crashers. Right now, the Secret Service taking a lot of heat, but of course, everybody's saying Social Secretary Desiree Rogers is the one who had the guest list. Should she have to testify? Does she get some kind of executive exemption?
Well, the executive exemption privilege is just for a much higher level of situation. Listen, this is an internal situation. It is terrible that somebody could get into the White House that easy. We really need that guy from 24. Jack Bauer. But I think they've learned their lesson, and they're getting better at it. Listen, we knew that Barack Obama was not an expert Washington insider. We knew the staff he was taking to Washington weren't the old pros that have been there for 20 or 30 years. They're learning on the job, and this is a situation. Desiree Rogers is a class act. She's from Chicago. Everybody knows she's part of Michelle's group with Valerie Jarrett. If Desiree Rogers gets injured in this way, or she's moved out of the White House, that would be a big blow to Michelle, the First Lady. The First Lady will not let this happen. This thing will blow and go away. If Desiree Rogers, Valerie Jarrett, or anyone inside that White House, Michelle's part of her group, if anything happens to them, then you have to suggest that Barack is losing control of the White House, because that's never going to happen.
Well, the country's got so many other issues right now. It might push that out, whether they like it or not. You got to deal with some.
It's just another one of those gotcha situations in D.C. This and that. We've got to move on, take care of the job situation. That's the most critical one.
Thom Serafin, always great to see you. Thanks for coming, and have a great weekend.